Welcome to the Robbins Regional Wrap, your one-stop shop for all your Houston County news. I'm Megan Western. Each week we're taking you through what's happening in Houston County, Warner Robins, Robbins Air Force Base, and your very own neighborhood. And this week we're talking about the shooting at Fort Stewart in southeast Georgia. It raised lots of questions about the mental health challenges that soldiers and veterans deal with during and after service. Elizabeth Hunter talked to the VA in Perry about services available for those who are struggling.
One bad choice can ruin your life.
After 12 years of Army service, Alonzo Sermons is all too familiar with the struggle of mental health.
Back in those days, mental health was not necessarily a brand, if you would. It wasn't a thing.
Sermons says it took him a long time to figure out how to deal with his mental hurdles.
I have to be careful what situations that I know would trigger me and to avoid those things.
Sermons says the Veterans Affairs resources helped him make a change.
There are phenomenal counselors and group classes with other fellow veterans that can give you their story and how they made adjustments and pivot during those times of chaos, and it'll help you out a lot.
Heather Prunty is a mental health counselor at the Perry VA Medical Center. She says their office sees up to 30 veterans a day.
There's a lot of things that they deal with individually, personally, occupationally, socially, and they just need to know that additional support is here.
Prunty says for both active duty and retired service members, reaching out for help is the hardest part.
I'm very proud of the veterans when they come in and ask for help and seek out that additional resource. That lets me know that they have strength that they didn't even know they had.
Prunty says family can play a critical role in helping their soldier or veteran get help. That was the case for Sermons.
When I did go get the help, it really made me open my eyes to see where I was wrong and how they saw me when I didn't see myself.
In Perry, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
Prunty says that if you can't get to the VA, telehealth counseling options are also available. Now, mental health disorders are on the rise among active duty service members. And right now, a Warner Robins man is in custody after an early Tuesday morning standoff. Law enforcement arrested 33-year-old Marquise Williams after a standoff of several hours. They say he barricaded himself inside a home on Athens Street. This happened after police responded to a domestic violence call. Again, this was early Tuesday. SWAT teams spent several hours negotiating before using gas canisters to drive him out. Williams is charged with aggravated assault and child cruelty. Police said no one else was home during the standoff, but neighbors say it shook a normally quiet neighborhood.
My grandmother has lived in this house for over 50 years, and that's not what happens over here at all. It's definitely the first time, I believe so.
We're told that no one was hurt during the standoff. Also this week, we're following another standoff. It happened this Friday, August 8th, near the Houston County Galleria Mall. Just before 9 a.m., the standoff came to an end. Sheriff Matt Moulton tells us that the person involved is dead. The GBI is calling it an officer-involved shooting. We're still learning more information about this standoff, but right now we know the man killed had a weapon, and police from multiple agencies work to get him to surrender. And in Houston County, the 911 center uses the language line to overcome language barriers to ensure that everyone gets help fast. Elizabeth Hunter visited the center to see how it works.
I wish I could do it all, but we can't, you know.
Houston County 911 is bridging the gap.
There's a very big Spanish community here, and we really want to make sure that they know they can call 911 and get help.
Over the last 5 years, the number of non-English speakers in Houston has jumped 23% according to the U.S. Census. That's why Lieutenant Veronica Eden says spreading the word about their translator line is more important than ever.
We just call them and ask them to translate for us. We talk to the translator like we're actually talking to the person that's calling. So they translate exactly what we say and then exactly what the non-English speaker says.
The service can translate for over 250 languages. Eden says she's worried the language line isn't used frequently because people don't know about it.
If any kind of issue happens, typically they have their children speak for them and interpret for them, which is great. But sometimes it's good just to have us and that person talking.
Skylar Knighton has been a dispatcher for 4 years. She echoes Eden's concerns.
We run about 800 calls a day, give or take. So in my almost 4 years to only have taken a couple hundred probably language line calls is pretty low.
Eden says last month they had 43 callers use the language line. Knighton says they try to help out even more by dispatching bilingual officers or EMS in those situations.
Some of our officers are bilingual, multilingual, so when we can, we dispatch those units that we know are fit for the calls.
In Houston County, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
The language line does cost $1.50 per minute, but Eden says it's a price that they're willing to pay as the non-English speaking population grows. To get the language line, there's no separate number to call. Just dial 911 as usual. Tell the dispatcher that you need a translator. To law enforcement news in Warner Robins now, the city is using its 2025 budget to expand the K-9 unit. This comes after the loss of a veteran police dog and as another is getting ready to retire. Jasmine Lee takes us inside the facility where those future police dogs will soon train.
It's the start of a new chapter for the Warner Robins Police K-9 unit, a team built on training, trust, and time in the field.
We had originally planned to retire both of the dogs around the same time.
Sergeant Casey Mullins supervises the K-9 program, which currently operates with 6 dog handler teams. One of the new recruits will step into the role left behind by K-9 Argo, who passed away just days before his planned retirement. And a second dog is being trained as one veteran K-9 prepares to wrap up his time on duty.
And this is Dixo, and after years on patrol, he's retiring in the next 6 months, and yes, he's earned it.
We'll be purchasing one narcotics detection dog and one explosive detection dog.
The dogs will first train with a vendor overseas for 4 months, then head to Warner Robins to continue working with their handlers. Mullins says the timeline varies because it's about building a reliable team, not just finishing training.
We also use the dogs for evidence recovery. So if we're out and say a suspect runs from a scene and they toss evidence, all of our canines are trained to locate articles, which anything you toss, whether it be keys, a gun, a cell phone, the dogs will be able to find it based on the human scent that's left on it.
From tracking suspects to finding missing people, the K-9s have a range of responsibilities. But Mullins believes what matters most isn't what they do, it's how they work together.
They're not, people have a bad idea of police dogs. Every one of our dogs are social. These dogs are just out here to do a job. They love working, and they do everything they can to help us out and help keep the community safe as well.
Reporting in Warner Robins, Jasmine Lee, 13 WMAZ News.
Now Mullins will be selecting those 2 new canines from North Carolina. And new FBI data shows that crime numbers last year dropped across the nation and here in Georgia. In Byron, police say that those numbers back up what they're seeing, but challenges still remain. Carmen Brown takes a closer look.
This week, the FBI reported a national drop in crime for 2024. Byron Police Chief Wesley Cannon says the local stats show the same trend.
We haven't seen an increase in crime in any aspect of violent crime or property crime. So for the state and for the nation, I think it's a wonderful thing to see.
Now nationwide, violent crime fell an estimated 4.5% in 2024 compared to 2023. In Georgia, violent crime dropped about 10.5% in 2024. Locally, Byron reported 0 homicides from 23 to 24, and burglaries fell from 11 to 6 in that span.
We want you to come here. We want you to live in peace. We want you to raise a family, and we want you to be able to operate a business without worried it's getting stolen from you.
Dixie Magnolia's boutique owners agree.
Definitely chose to be out in Byron because of safety and just a small town.
We see them all the time. They ride by all the time. The police department, the fire department.
Yes, sheriff.
Cannon says their approach is based on fast response.
Criminals come here, commit a crime, and we're there within 3 minutes, 5 minutes tops, and we catch them.
And he says technology like flock camera systems often help speed up that response.
It's like having a police officer at every city limit sign in town, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I think they're a huge crime deterrent.
But Cannon warns staffing shortages remain a challenge across the nation, along with another major factor.
90% of every crime, even your forgeries, your identity thefts, you can track 90% of all of our crimes back to dope.
Reporting in Byron, Carmen Brown, 13 WMAZ News.
The chief says that his officers solve a high rate of crimes, but court delays have led to overcrowding at the Peach County Jail. He says that issue extends beyond Peach County. Back to Houston County now. If you're a longtime county resident, you may like to hear this. If you had a water account with Houston County more than 20 years ago, go ahead and check your next bill. You could be one of the customers getting a credit. This week, commissioners approved a plan to return nearly $200,000 in old deposits. Elizabeth Hunter shares the details.
Water is expensive, but thousands of Houston County water customers might be getting a break.
I know they haven't heard about it yet because it's the first time I heard about it, but I know they're going to be extremely excited.
Sam Wiesjock says his parents have lived in Houston County since 1994. They didn't know about the deposit refund, but they'll be happy to get it.
For the city to come back, or the county to come back and say, oh my gosh, yeah, we're going to pass this new law, we'll refund all this back. That's really cool.
Almost 5,000 water customers should be getting this refund. Terry Deach, the Houston County Utility Director, says this has been a long time coming.
We stopped taking deposits for customer water accounts back in 2001, so about 24 years ago.
Deach says this refund applies only to customers who were on the county water system through 2001.
Everybody since 2001 wasn't required to have a deposit to open a water account, so this will only be impacting the ones before 2001.
If you no longer live in Houston County, you will get a refund check. If you still do, you will get an account credit.
The deposits will be credited to their next billing cycle, and that's how they'll be refunded to the customer, or issue a check for a few that may have moved away.
In Houston County, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
For more information, you can contact Houston County Public Works. A number is at the bottom of your screen right now, 478-987-4280. And a Warner Robins couple says that bats have taken over their home. Now, weeks later, Jennifer Piantek and her fiance are still staying in a hotel with no clear end in sight. 2.5 weeks ago, we first reported on the infestation that forced them out of their housing authority apartment. Now they say the situation has gotten worse and they're running out of options at this point. Jasmine Lee spoke with the couple outside the hotel they've been forced to call home.
I'm standing just outside the hotel where Jennifer Piantek and her fiance have lived for several weeks. They say there are still bats in their housing authority apartment, and until that changes, they're not going anywhere.
I thought being homeless was bad, but I think this is pretty close.
For Jennifer Piantek and her fiance, it's been weeks of waiting with no real answers, and what started as a one-time problem has now taken over their lives.
They're coming in either through the vents up here or through the crack down on the bottom.
Since July 2nd, they've been out of their apartment at Kemp Harrison Homes after bats began flying through vents, crashing into cookware, and appearing without warning. They're in their hotel not by choice, they say, but because it's their only option.
You pay for a place that you can't even stay at. And I asked that question this month. I said, out of 31 days in July, we only slept there 4 nights. I said, not because we wanted to or because we chose to, but because we're forced to not sleep there.
At first, they thought the air conditioner was to blame, but Piantek says after our story aired in mid-July, the housing authority sealed it. But still, the bats kept flying. Now she says the apartment reeks of them.
What is that? What is that smell? And he was like, that's the bat, babe. And I was like, come on, really?
And Jennifer isn't the only one still waiting for answers. The Warner Robins Housing Authority is now facing 2 separate lawsuits, both from tenants claiming they were also forced to live in dangerous conditions. It's a growing pattern that has now left Piantek wondering what's next.
If somebody else is having the same problem, maybe they'll get better luck. Or faster results than I'm getting.
Georgia law prohibits killing bats, so Piantek says they've had to let the last one stay. Reporting in Warner Robins, Jasmine Lee, 13 WMAZ News.
The Warner Robins Housing Authority has not responded to our current attempts for comment. Like Jasmine said, this isn't the first time tenants have had problems with government housing in Warner Robins. And the U.S. Census says that Perry's population has surged nearly 70% since 2010, adding more than 6,800 people. That growth is fueling a downtown boom like never before. Elizabeth Hunter talked to some shop owners about how this growth is shaping their business.
Thank you for your purchase.
Thank you. My mindset changed to like, why don't I create what I always wanted here instead of going to a city that already has it? And I think that's what Downtown Perry is doing.
Tabitha Arzola owns the Bold Kind Boutique in downtown Perry. She opened just 4 months ago.
I love having this physical location and seeing my customers face to face. That's really important to me to like build that connection and community.
Arzola says she was drawn to Perry because the city invests so much in its businesses.
There's a lot more to do, I think, than what there used to be, and I do visit Perry is amazing. I think they really like pour in and nourish the businesses.
Right down the street, the owner of Brittle & Co. says that she's seen tons of changes in downtown Perry since she first opened her doors.
It was a very quiet little town, and that was that.
When Kimberly Britt owned her business back in 2013, she says it was a different experience.
The streets did close at 5. You didn't have any restaurants. It was just shops.
12 years later, she says the scene has completely changed.
The growth has just been incredible, overwhelming sometimes. I mean, you just don't expect to do the amount of volume that we'll do on a Tuesday. You know what I mean? It's just different.
Britt knows some are concerned about the growth, but she says the city is handling it well.
Anything that goes on down here, it's structured very well. It's always very pretty. It's maintained. When there's any events, you've got police present, and so it feels safe. So I absolutely love owning a business in downtown Perry.
In Perry, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, downtown Perry isn't done growing yet. The demand for retail is driving support for nearly 17,000 square feet of new commercial space, according to the Downtown Development Authority. And Perry isn't the only spot in central Georgia seeing rapid growth. Monroe County had 4 major projects on the table, but the biggest was a controversial data center that was rejected after months of debate. And Houston County students enjoyed their first full week of school this week. One Houston County school is kicking off the year with a big honor. Our junior journalist, Cora Jean Daniel, has the story.
Houston County students are back in the classroom, and this 5th grade teacher started the year on a roll.
Is it a long A sound or a short A sound?
Houston County Schools named Amber Washington their Teacher of the Year last week. She says she has always been drawn to teaching.
I think I've always knew I was supposed to be a teacher. I was a little girl who played with school with my family or with my dolls, and so it was just something that it was a passion and it was a purpose that I always had.
Washington has been teaching for 11 years. 9 of those were right here at Centerville Elementary. She says her teammates help keep her going.
A lot of us, we just lean on each other for advice and everything, so without them, I think I'd be drowning.
Her students say her classroom is a place where they feel supported and inspired.
She's very creative and that she is always very nice. She's not always too strict, but she's strict enough that you want to follow her rules.
Washington says the most rewarding part of her job is building relationships and helping students succeed.
I want them to know that I truly did care about them and that I didn't just say it, I truly meant it. When I tell them I love them, I mean it, and that I really do want them to be successful when they leave this room.
For Washington, teaching isn't just a job. It's a chance to make a lasting difference for every student who walks through her door. We're ready to honor all of Central Georgia's best teachers, but students, we need to hear from you. Tell us why your teacher is my teacher is tops. Send a letter or email, and we might just come to your school next. Reporting in Centerville, I'm junior journalist Cora Jean Daniel.
Now, if you live in Houston County, you'll likely see higher tax bills this upcoming year. That's because property values are up. Tax bills could rise by about 12% on average, even though the school board plans to keep the millage rate the same, steady at just under 12 mils. Elizabeth Hunter spoke with the district about why they say they need more funding this year.
Oh no, more taxes.
For Dot Leach, more taxes is never a good thing.
You know, I bought my house for like $150 and now it's at $285. So everything went up. Insurance went up, taxes went up, everything.
With Houston County Board of Education's millage rate likely staying the same, Leach will probably see a higher tax bill. But Michelle Morris, Chief Financial Officer for the district, says this will allow them to take care of their students and staff.
All of our staff is getting a 1% cost of living adjustment increase, and then in December they'll get a $1,000 supplement if they're a full-time employee with the school district.
Morris says if you see an increase in your school board tax bill, it's because your property value increased, not because the millage rate increased.
We did not want to increase it at all. And so we made our expenditures make sure we fit into the 11.719 mills.
If the school board adopted the lower rollback rate to reflect rising values, tax bills would have stayed about the same.
The amount of the rollback would have been 1.226. which according to that calculation looks like an 11.68% increase.
Morris says they have one of the lowest rates in the state for a district their size.
Houston County School District is the 12th largest school district in the state of Georgia, and our millage from last year ranked 165th out of 180 school districts.
In Houston County, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, for those of you who want to voice your opinion, the school board has scheduled 3 public meetings at their office in Perry. Those will take place on August 11, starting at 6 p.m., August 12th at 1 p.m., and August 25th at 3 p.m. And the Warner Robins Fire Department is shifting gears for a good cause. They hosted their first ever Afterburn Auto Show. For more than 70 classic cars, they were out there on display. It was over at the North Houston Sports Complex. Families were able to catch a glimpse of some of the custom rides revving up for the award portion of the event. Cedric Wilson's 1978 Chevy Malibu took home 2 of those awards for Best Paint and Best Engine.
I feel great, and I'm honored, and it was a lot of nice cars out here, pretty much besides mine. So I really do appreciate everything from the fire department and everything.
All proceeds went directly to the Georgia Firefighters Burn Foundation, which funds treatment for burn survivors and fire safety classes statewide. Alrighty, before we let you go, let's catch you up on what's happening in the Robbins region. The Tykes, Tots, and Teens consignment sale, it's back in Perry. Head on over to McGill Marketplace at the Georgia National Fairgrounds, where you can shop thousands of gently used kids items. Today, August the 8th, doors are open until 8 p.m. Saturday, August the 9th, you can shop from 10 in the morning until 5 p.m. and then go back later in the day from 6:30 to 10 p.m. That's when they'll have 50% off items marked with a star. And then on Sunday, August the 10th, you can go from 11 to 4. It's the Dollar Dash on items marked with a D. And it's that time, Central Georgia. Buckarama is heading back to the Georgia National Fairgrounds. If you enjoy hunting or the great outdoors, you may like to check out their deer head competition, retriever demos, snake shows, and other wildlife encounters. That all kicks off next Friday, August the 15th. Take a look at those hours on your screen right there. That starts on Friday, August 15th from 1 to 7. Again, the rest of the hours are on your screen. Admission is $10. Seniors and kids 6 to 12 years old get in for $8. Any kid under 6 will get in for free. Alrighty, that's a wrap on what's happening throughout the Robbins region this week. If you have a Houston County story that you want to share with us, go ahead and email us at news@13wmaz.com. Make sure you check back in with us each and every Friday for all of your Houston